Buy a brand new $1,000 flagship smartphone, take it out of the pristine packaging, ignore the high-resolution camera, and use it exclusively to dial 1-800 numbers like a dusty 1990s landline. Treating a PlayStation 5 strictly as a video game console replicates that literal absurdity. You are holding a massive $500 piece of hardware under your television and intentionally ignoring a centralized media hub. Our mission for this deep dive is synthesizing the recent wave of Sony firmware updates, subscription lineup press releases, and leaked promotional pricing to expose how this machine fundamentally mutated past its original design.
Forcing 4 specific applications into that plastic tower changes its entire underlying architecture. The console stops functioning as a single-purpose gaming box and mutates into a complete entertainment ecosystem.
Twitch provides the most immediate hardware bypass for anyone turning on their system today. Broadcasting your gameplay to the internet previously forced players to drop hundreds of dollars on external capture cards and route complicated HDMI cables through massive desktop computers. Hitting the Create button on the DualSense controller and clicking the broadcast icon, the one shaped precisely like a small radio tower, initiates the stream natively.
Hardware encoders built directly into the console motherboard eliminate the need for those external capture cards entirely. Selecting your preferred broadcasting platform brings up instant, on-screen customization menus for your camera feed and your microphone audio.
Pressing the Go Live button instantly connects your gameplay to an audience. Relying on specialized desktop software like OBS Studio or Streamlabs becomes entirely unnecessary for casual broadcasting. Sharing a difficult boss fight with your friends happens organically.
Audio integration offers a completely different psychological advantage for long sessions. The system integrates Spotify directly into the operating system. The application continues playing natively in the background while you have a game running on the main screen.
Grinding through a repetitive 50-hour role-playing game becomes infinitely more tolerable when you play your own custom playlists. The console actively mixes your streaming audio directly over the game's native sound effects. You hear the ambient sounds of the digital world underneath your favorite podcasts.
Replacing a repetitive orchestral track with a custom audio feed prevents the severe fatigue that ruined long gaming sessions. Apple Music and Pandora exist on the platform, though Spotify dominates the global subscriber base. The hardware gives you complete control over the audio mix sliders.
Drowning out obnoxious character dialogue without losing crucial environmental audio cues is, like, a lifesaver. YouTube pushes the console further into dedicated media player territory. Owners of 4K televisions can stream ultra-high-definition video directly through the native application instead of relying on a separate smart TV interface. The television processor stops doing the heavy lifting, passing the rendering workload directly to the PlayStation's graphics chip.
Confirming that high-resolution output requires digging deep into the application settings. Users must locate the Show Video Info toggle and manually enable it to verify the maximum visual fidelity, since the default settings often compress the video feed to save bandwidth.
Jumping between a complex video game and a YouTube walkthrough happens in seconds. Pinning that same YouTube video to the side of the screen requires a wildly convoluted process that defies basic logic. You have to exploit the console's internal messaging system just to open a simple video player.
Sony intentionally removed the native web browser from the PlayStation 5 operating system. Previous console generations suffered massive security breaches because hackers found WebKit exploits inside the built-in browser. Locking down the system architecture forces users into a bizarre workaround just to watch a video while playing.
You open the GameBase hub. You type a standard YouTube web address into a direct message to a friend. You click the exact link you just sent inside your own chat history. The console finally opens a microbrowser window. You hit the Options button and select Pin to Side.
Forcing players to use a text chat interface as a backdoor web browser highlights a glaring failure in user experience design. The PlayStation app for smartphones provides a much cleaner interaction with the console.
Remote game purchasing allows you to trigger massive software downloads while sitting at a desk miles away from your house. A modern video game regularly exceeds 150 gigabytes of data. The application ensures the massive file is fully installed and waiting for you the second you walk through your front door.
Managing local storage from a phone screen eliminates the chore of booting up the system just to delete old files. The solid-state drive inside the console fills up incredibly fast. The application automatically pulls captured screenshots and video clips from the console directly to your mobile device for immediate online sharing.
Maximizing that hardware naturally requires software. Sony routes all of that access through a massive digital toll booth known as PlayStation Plus. The company recently overhauled the entire financial structure of the network.
Going through your bank statement on your phone and realizing you are being slowly bled dry by recurring monthly charges captures the micro feeling of these recent subscription price hikes. Sony restructured the pricing model into three distinct tiers. Essential costs $11 a month. The extra tier sits at $17. Premium drains $20 from your account every 30 days.
Microsoft altering its strict first-party exclusivity strategy brings Grounded to the June 2026 monthly games lineup. Seeing an Xbox Game Studios title developed by Obsidian Entertainment featured directly on Sony's subscription service highlights a massive tectonic shift in the industry. The console wars effectively ended when software profit margins demanded multi-platform releases.
Surviving in a backyard with a "Honey, I Shrunk the Kids" aesthetic provides the core gameplay loop. You play as a microscopic teenager building fortresses out of discarded grass blades and defending your base from terrifyingly massive garden spiders. Obsidian, abandoning strict platform exclusivity, puts their survival game directly in front of millions of PlayStation owners between June 2 and July 6.
Warhammer 40,000. Darktide joins the release window. Fat Shark developed this co-op shooter by intentionally avoiding the most famous marketable characters in the entire franchise. The developers drop players into the boots of the lowest-tier factions within the grimdark universe.
Controlling an Ogren completely changes the power fantasy. These are massive, brutal Abhumans from the Imperial Guard faction. Alternatively, you play as a tech priest from the Adeptus Mechanicus. The gameplay focuses heavily on brutal, desperate melee combat against overwhelming swarms of infected enemies.
Playing as desperate grunts is vastly different from controlling a genetically enhanced space marine who wears impenetrable power armor and wields explosive bolt guns. An Ogren relies on brute strength and scavenged weaponry to survive in the decaying lower levels of a hive city.
The June 23 update adds the highly anticipated Skitarii class to the roster. These cybernetic soldiers introduce ranged combat mechanics that previously did not exist in the game. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 rounds out the standard monthly editions for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 owners.
EA Sports FC 26 technically released as part of the May lineup, but Sony is keeping it available to claim for an extended period until June 16. Keeping that specific soccer game available operates as an act of blatant cynicism.
The June 4 update adds a massive 48-team international tournament mode. This patch drops directly alongside the real-world World Cup hype happening concurrently, extending a promotional window to perfectly align with a massive global sporting event maximizes the potential for in-game microtransactions.
Millions of new players download the game for free through their subscription, boot up the tournament mode, and immediately encounter the Ultimate Team storefront. They start spending real money on digital player packs to build their fantasy roster.
Dropping a massive franchise bundle onto the service right as the development studio faces a literal existential crisis provides another prime example of cynically timed corporate maneuvering. Destiny 2. Legacy Collection 2025 hits the extra and premium subscription tiers on June 9.
The bundle includes the Final Shape expansion. That specific piece of software officially wrapped the main storyline of the game. Players spent 10 real-world years following a singular narrative thread, and the Final Shape delivered the ultimate conclusion.
The collection strategically omits the two massive 2025 expansions. The Edge of Fate and Renegades require separate, full-priced purchases. Sony is giving away the old chapters to hook new players, forcing them to buy the newest content to catch up with the active player base.
June 9 marks the exact same day Bungie releases the final definitive update for the long-running game. Winding down active development completely ends an era that started with massive fanfare back in 2014. The development team is permanently moving away from their flagship universe.
Bungie currently faces impending devastating layoffs following the catastrophic failure of their ultra-hardcore extraction shooter, Marathon. An extraction shooter forces players to drop into a map, scavenge for loot, and reach an exit point before dying. Dying results in permanently losing all the gear you brought into the match.
The studio bet its entire financial future on a highly punishing genre dominated by established competitors. The game failed to capture an audience, and now the studio is fighting for its life.
Flooding a subscription service with old content attempts to extract the last remaining engagement metrics from a dying product. The server populations for Destiny 2 plummeted after the storyline concluded. Offering the legacy chapters for free, briefly, artificially inflates the player count.
Gifting someone the Destiny 2 Legacy Collection right now feels literally like handing a friend the first 10 seasons of a television show on DVD the exact same week the network publicly cancels the series and fires all the writers. You were handing them a completed artifact. The living, breathing community they remember evaporated.
Sony demands more monthly cash through these permanent subscription hikes, while simultaneously trying to soften the blow by discounting physical hardware during the days of play sale. Slashing prices on physical peripherals runs from May 27 through June 10 across Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, and Target.
Standard DualSense controllers drop significantly from $75 down to $54. The sale covers multiple single-tone color options. The controllers feature haptic feedback motors and adaptive triggers that simulate physical resistance. Those internal mechanisms break down over time, forcing players to constantly buy replacements.
Upgrading to the DualSense Edge Pro controller drops the price from $199 to $169. Purchasing a brand new factory-sealed model currently costs the exact same amount as buying a refurbished unit directly from the manufacturer.
The Edge features shorter battery life than the standard model. You trade wireless playtime for modularity. It compensates for that hardware limitation by offering replaceable thumbstick modules, customizable back paddles, a dedicated function key, and adjustable trigger stops.
Stick drift plagues modern gaming controllers. The internal sensors wear out, causing the camera or character to move without any physical input from the player. Replacing a standard controller costs $75. The DualSense Edge allows players to slide out the broken thumbstick module and insert a $20 replacement piece.
Swapping control schemes on the fly provides a massive advantage in competitive multiplayer shooters. You map the jump and reload buttons to the back paddles. Your thumbs never leave the aiming sticks. The included hard case and cable locking mechanism elevate the hardware beyond a standard peripheral.
PlayStation VR2 headsets receive a flat $100 discount during the promotional window. The virtual reality peripheral struggled to find a mainstream audience at its original price point. Major first-party software titles receive significant price cuts alongside the hardware.
Ghost View Tay, Helldivers 2, Death Stranding 2, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered represent the core of the discounted software lineup. You have open-world samurai action, cooperative bug squashing, bizarre sci-fi delivery mechanics, and intense survival horror, all dropping in price simultaneously.
Consoles remain entirely absent from every single retailer's sale list. The recent hardware price hikes locked the core PlayStation 5 units out of the promotional window. The raw materials and shipping logistics required to manufacture the actual consoles remain too expensive for Sony to subsidize.
Slashing controller prices operates as a calculated psychological trick to distract consumers from the permanent subscription hikes. The human brain prioritizes the immediate dopamine rush of a discount over the abstract concept of a long-term financial drain.
The days of play sale effectively functions as a smokescreen. The temporary hardware price cuts dominate the gaming news cycle. The conversation entirely ignores the fact that the baseline cost of participating in the PlayStation ecosystem permanently increased.
Saving $20 on a piece of plastic one time feels like a victory. You secure the discount, unbox the controller, and feel like you beat the system. You pay an extra $3 to $5 a month for the rest of your natural life. Goodbye.